It's just what I solely believe. I just don't believe that she has the top means or the credentials to be a top draw and to really benefit and be a megastar in that company. She's in that top spot for a reason, whether it's to please a certain demographic or, they were desperate to have somebody for the short period take over. My fellow Cosmos, hopefully you're enjoying your Thursday. And yes, I believe it's about that time. I've been putting it off for a little while because I wanted to see actually a little bit more, but I think it's time for me to speak on this subject and this particular wrestler, which is Liv Morgan. And the reason I say that is because, if you want to go back a little bit, pieces back in time, especially towards when she had a promo between Becky Lynch. I mean, I'll get all into it, but I'm basically trying to say I'm basically about to explain my reasonings, and I'm about to explain why I don't believe that I think she's, I don't think she should be in the position that she should be in, and I don't think, obviously her reign is not going to last very long. I mean, Triple H is in the charge, but I don't know if he's really I don't know if she's really a favorite of Triple H. We'd have to see, but as far as now, I don't know, her as far as her green card, it's pretty much being kicked right into the sunset. So possibly her days are numbered. So okay, which I said before, I have a lot of explaining to do, in which I believe that I don't think that she should be champion, or should be one of the faces of the company. Going back to her first initial, when she first had started, I mean, I didn't get the luxury to witness her, first debut. At the start of 2015, basically through her debut, I was, basically cut off. I wasn't very interested in wrestling at the time completely. Basically, like the first half of her career, I would say, I pretty much wasn't there because, like I just said before, between these periods, I was pretty much turned off, especially with, the constant shoving of John Cena and down, people's throats, and I was one of them growing up. And when I started to tune back in, tune back right into wrestling, is when Roman's heel character, when he turned heel, when we started to really get relish in his heel character, his creation of the tribal chief, head of the table character had come to fruition. Also, the same time when I started to really, the creation of, of course, my brand. Because not only did I want to, I was starting to tune back in because of the whole Roman Reigns character, heel character, starting to take off. I also wanted to give, starting to really, be comfortable on broadcasting myself, and, really also giving my, coming together and really I wanted to create a community, and, have my opinions, and we can, just, have gobble up opinions and just spew them off at each other. To talk about, what is, in good spirit, good fruition for wrestling. And that is also when I had first initially, because I didn't first initially started paying attention to her when she had the start of her back-to-back feud with Becky Lynch, and that's when Becky Lynch had been turned heel. This what you can call it, basically a shoot. This shoot promo right here, when they had basically was talking about, if you remember, Becky's contract and everything like that. I believe I had reacted to it. I believe I reacted to it and had said something about it. That can, whew, that was also, first initial battle, also, of constant shots of just being thrown between WWE. Like I said, I could talk about that for a whole nother. That's like a whole nother discussion, for another subject. But that one, Edge, and then that promo between Becky and Liv, that was basically when Liv had mentioned basically her members of the Riot team, because that's when that's also around, because that's the end of 2021, and that's also around the time that by that time her squad members had been released. Well, I think Morgan, the other one, she had basically, I guess, retired basically, or just stepped away for whatever reason. She's still wrestling, but she's just not. She stepped away from WWE, and then WWE had officially disbanded, and in the summer, the first start of the summer of last year, that is when they had cut the cord. They had disbanded her and Liv Morgan, disbanded Ruby and Liv Morgan officially, the Riot Squad done, which was, everybody was I remember that, completely upset about. Everybody was upset about that. And that's when they started, I guess for a reason, but that's when I guess she really started to shine also. Like I was about to say, yeah, that promo right there is also proof of her not being ready, and just because it was completely terrible. You could tell it was scripted. You could tell that she was basically attempting to remember her lines, and she was reading off a piece of paper, and she tried to have memorize it. Yeah, you could tell, and it was just really embarrassing to witness. Like I said, I was there that day, and I had initially reacted and talked about it also. So yeah, that was if you're going to go back also to listen to that. But yeah, I still had the same opinion from that initial day of when I had saw Liv basically cut that promo. They had basically had initiated that promo, and it was just yeah, it was not good. It was not good. And in which now we get to where she had, a month ago had wanted Money in the Bank, and where you get to now is that she's become SmackDown Women's Champion. So obviously, I'm not trying to put down obviously her accomplishments and everything her as a wrestler, and obviously the trials and tribulations and what she had, the struggles and what she had to go through to get obviously to where she is now. I'm not trying to put down that. I'm not attempting to put down, obviously, her in her career of how far, she's grasped and become to where she is now. I'm not trying to put down that obvious fact. What I'm saying is that, for so long that WWE has built around, whether it's around multiple or it's around one. So when Vince was in charge, he always had, even though he always had his favorites, and it may have not always been right, he had one person that was basically the action figure, the one individual, whether multiple or one, they would look marketable. They appealed to everybody, boys and girls, men and women of all ages, whatever culture. They all appealed to every demographic that you can think of, and especially now of how, because of how it's really sad and how it's really been proven true without a doubt that John Cena is one of the last megastars, and if you can call Roman Reigns, because he still has a bit of a juice to draw, but only to a certain degree. And it's like when I look at Liv, obviously she can, I would say barely, but she can, she does what she needs to. She can obviously handle herself in the ring, like, which obviously I'm not trying to say that because not that you do, but you do have to have some sort of, because obviously it's still wrestling. You do need to have some sort of ability when it comes to being in the ring, and obviously she has that. And but when it comes to, because this is the issue, and that's why you have with wrestlers nowadays also. When it comes to wrestlers like Liv Morgan, and nowadays also, when it comes to wrestlers like Liv Morgan, and whether I'm not ashamed or it's not like, it's a bit of a bullet to swallow. She doesn't have that markability. She, or whether it comes to, whether it comes to like, she has zero, zero, whether it's charisma or status, because her ability, obviously not, but her ability to draw, or whether it's because obviously, like I said, you can't take away the fact that she's still gonna have some fans. Like that is true. Like, she's obviously, you have a wrestler, they're obviously still gonna have their community. They're still gonna have their base. But it's like, even when you want to think a majority, even when you want to think about a majority, I'm pretty sure a majority of the females, especially the little girls that's in the world right now, pretty much doesn't know who Liv Morgan is. And I said, it's not that it's her fault, but you're also in the time period of where wrestling is at it's at its downward spiral, and it's only going down from here. You have, when it comes to the larger majority of the demographic, which are also casuals, because you need casuals, and they hold up a lot. Nobody really, especially when it comes to Roman Reigns too. Like, nobody really knows, Roman Reigns, or in this case Liv Morgan, like that. It's the size of the size of the itty bitty community that she has created. Outside of that, and whether, like I said, talk about there, this is when Vince was obviously, this is why I like also too, and when it comes to the IWC, when they really don't know anything, and they don't even know that the WWE does listen, and they do take into fact, they do take ideas from the when it comes to the IWC, the wrestling what do you call them, fans, the wrestling fans. And it's like, it's obvious that also that it was in a desperate attempt to make her a champion, and to really appeal to to a demographic, and they wanted to also, it was in a short span of time, because they're in desperate need of stars. And when you have that, and then they're also because obviously, because at that point, before Bayley had returned, practically, now you have also with Sasha gone, you practically had zero. You practically had zero of the four horsewomen there. And then that doesn't even, which is not fair also, because you also had the four horsewomen also being pushed, especially Charlotte, damn near to a degree, which was pissing everybody off also. They were in every match, and they were in every picture. Not that they earned that, but which is also the same case of whether you want to talk about John Cena, or we want to talk about building around new stars. That's the that's another major problem in which WWE is not in the mainstream anymore, because they don't have, like I said, especially to blend within the culture. They don't have stars. They don't have newer stars around them, and especially to relate to the crowd, and to a demographic to pull in newer and a lot of viewers, and that's the key issue, because they still care about more self money, and they just completely lazy. And like I said, not that it's a problem, but whether it's not her fault or not, but it's still, when it comes to wrestler nowadays, like going back to that which I said, yeah, it's a whole issue of, because how does Liv Morgan like stand out? How does Liv Morgan stand out? How does she? Because like I said, I'm pretty sure she obviously has little girls that look up to her, and she has women that want to follow her and be after her going into the near future. But it's like, who really is going to? Like I said, it's pretty much. I'm not trying to nag or be, really brutally harsh, but it's, it's but it's pretty much the truth. Who really is gonna remember a Liv Morgan? Who really is, like in the world, a majority that knows who Liv Morgan is right now. And it's like, it's not going to be a high number. She does obviously not. I wouldn't put that close to there, but just like wrestlers like her, they don't know how to work, they don't know how to draw. They're not draws. They're not. They don't, whether it's tickets, money, and viewership. It's not like she's a high merchandise seller, but she still doesn't draw a lot, millions, like a John Cena, or what. I don't think there was any woman that drew, but what I'm basically still trying to say is that she doesn't have those abilities, whether it comes to marketability, because she's not a, like I just said, a draw, or whether she doesn't, because she's not she's obviously has a fan base, but to get even more known, she's not, she practically, like I said, she's practically the same thing as everybody else. The only ones which I can think of what comes to mind, which whether you want to talk about AJ Lee, or I guess some sort of degree, Liv Paige, even though I don't, what she pretty much is now, but whether you want to talk about Paige or AJ Lee, or it's not that very big, or China. Yeah, she doesn't, like, in a long list of female wrestlers, she doesn't, or because even though how much I don't like Lita and Trish, because they're very, which I believe they're very overrated, but when it comes to them, they still have a way that stands out about them. Whether you want to talk about their character or just they're pioneers. Whether you hate to admit or think about it, whoever dislikes or likes them, Lita and Trish are pioneers in wrestling. And Liv Morgan she's just started, because by this point I think she's still probably is in her late 20s, but she's still a new brand of wrestler, and nobody really knows who she is outside of her really small fan base. And it's like I said, I'm not trying, whether it upsets you or not, or I'm just trying to come across, and whether I believe that I think that she doesn't, in which I truly believe that she doesn't have it. Whether you want to talk about marketability, obviously mic skills, she damn near doesn't have that. It's a lot of things that she needs to work on, whether it comes to her mic skills, or like I said, she needs to, obviously that's going to build over time gradually, her marketability. And I said, it's not like she has a look, but she doesn't have the crucial components when it comes to, like I just said, the mic skills, charisma. Well, she tries an effort, but it's like when she talks and the way she carries herself, it's very robust and robotic, and it's nervous. Like I said, it's a gradual, you have to get used to it. You have to get used to it over time, but it's like every time she has stepped up to the plate, it's almost like she's, really nervous or almost scared to go after that. So, which I'm trying to explain, if you didn't already know already, but yeah, it's a lot of key. It's a lot of, like I said, it's because it still boggles down to her being responsible for it, in which the problem, because you have, because like when you said like how Big Booker T got attacked, and like I said, it's a number of wrestlers, but that's probably the only one. Like, or also like it's like, because it's a lot of legends that said that these kids, they don't know how to work. They don't know the basic fundamentals. Like, Kurt Angle has said this, RVD, Kevin Nash, obviously the Undertaker, and it's like, yeah, it's like plenty more. They have gone to say, Brock Lesnar too, Randy Orton. They have talked about and said that these kids, you have to have what it takes. They don't look like they have what it takes, whether it comes to the look and the charisma, the reason why it's even after all these years also, and he's only gotten better, which is why, like I said, this is my favorite run of Brock Lesnar, because he's gotten much more better. Because if you look at before, he didn't damn near have the charisma that he has now. But when you look at now, and then when you look at parts from 2002 to, and then when he comes back, like you can obviously see that he doesn't get comfortable, and he doesn't have that range to be as charismatic as a Rock or a Stone Cold. So, like I said, it's pretty sad to say, but whether you you get upset over the fact or not, it's just like what I just don't believe that she has the ability. And right now, especially, she shouldn't be in the position she is right now. But it was out of desperate. Like I said, I don't know if a very high favorite, so pretty much they had no choice to. And it's like when you look back a little bit before Bayley, finally returned, because you had Bayley out damn near by a year now. Now you have Sasha going back to May. Her and Naomi had walked out, and then Becky Lynch. They need baby faces, especially because it's like when it comes to the SmackDown brand, I guess too, they don't really have any stars on that brand, and really, and I don't know Matt Riddle, but he's out. Orton is out. When it comes to Raw, also Orton, Riddle, they're out, and I think it's now Becky Lynch, a storyline injury. She's out now, and it's like they need a lot, and it's like it's really getting tough. I don't know if Triple H is going to, because he likes the as much as the indie mark and the fetish he has for indie wrestling that he does now. Not to say that she definitely has the look of an indie, but she has potential. Liv Morgan has potential. She has the potential to go viral. She has the potential to be a top box office draw. Like she has that. She has the potential. She just has to work on it. And I feel like she was, like I said, it was WWE at a desperate time that they put her in this position, because I feel like the fact where they were still listening to the IWC, because she was a very it's getting tough and difficult for them to really be lazy. It's just getting to that point in time. So like I said with Liv Morgan, but I don't think it's obviously, like it's obvious it's there. She has the potential, but her being in the position that she is now, she shouldn't be there, because she doesn't have the components yet. She doesn't have that range yet to want to garner and to be a top star, and she doesn't have those components yet. She doesn't have the markability. She doesn't have those components yet. The mic skills, the charisma, she doesn't have that yet. So like I said, I know why, but I think immediately she should lose that position and be taken out because she doesn't have that range or that particular range and ability to be able to be in that position to where she's one of the faces and top stars of the company, because she's not ready. She's still basically she still looks like the day she she still looks like the day she debuted, and that's pretty much still a rookie, and she doesn't have it. So obviously I might upset a few, might even they might unsub. I've obviously experienced already that before, and I've only been here almost for a year. So if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I'm just saying what I've been thinking, and like I said, not that I don't. Obviously, when it comes, it's not about that. It's not about her as a person, or it's obviously not about that. It's not about her as a person. It's about the fact that when it comes to especially newer wrestlers today, they don't have. That's the reason why. Also, that's what also plays into why wrestling is where it is, because you have companies that are so desperate and they don't think, and they put these wrestlers that don't have crucial components like charisma and markability, and they don't have that yet, and they just get put in a position just because whether it has to do with the toxic fans or the companies, they don't know what to do. In this case, WWE, they don't have any stars, which is why they're in desperate need of some. And it's obviously they have potential there, but it's like, what's the point? Like I said, what's the point? Because they're obviously with this whole recruit thing. If it's more of just midgets, or not even that, if it's just more people that's just that practically looks like a blockhead, really big blockhead, or whether it's a small a small wrestler that they or like whatever, they like a daredevil, they don't have, or whether it's a person that really looks like a boxer. Like, what's the point? What's the point in having? What's the point in I don't know why. What's the point of getting more wrestlers, of getting anybody, if they don't know what the basic fundamentals is? They don't know. If they don't know, then what's the point? What's the point in putting them in that position? Because it's not going to help you. It's not going to help your company. It's not going to help them in the long run to draw more viewership, to draw more tickets and everything as a whole. You're just hurting them. You're just setting them up to failure. And that's the same case as it was with Big E, which is why that was a big deal as it was, and they completely fumbled on that. And Kofi Kingston also, and what they did with him in 2019, and now Big E, basically last year, and now Liv Morgan. They're doing this like it's going to be a constant shift. Like they keep propping up potential stars, and they're not putting them, they're not like operating on the right time to unleash and to put them in the right spot to be able to benefit them and the wrestlers themselves. And it's like they're not doing it at the right time, and they're not without fully looking at the wrestler and seeing as if they have what it needs and what it takes to be to draw in initial viewership or just more money. Because WWE themselves, they don't, like I said, it's been a constant drop. It's not like they don't have the effort, it's just that they don't want to try and they don't want to do, and it's just like everything is just completely falling apart. So yeah, I mean, I'll probably another video as well, a full-fledged basically documentary, but we're discussing it. But yeah, that's what I believe, and it's only going to get worse from here. So yeah, that's what I believe about Liv Morgan. She shouldn't be in a position that she's in, because it was only out of desperation and it was out of, for the IWC to appeal to a certain demographic, and it's just, whether they're in need of new stars, or it's just like the thing of they don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do. So yeah, I'm gonna see y'all much out later, and stay blessed. Hopefully you enjoyed it, whether you disliked or liked it at all. I mean, yeah, if you have evidence of, you can show me where that she has it. Like, show me where Liv Morgan is capable to be a top star. Obviously she has the potential, but as far as show me the proof and the evidence of her, of why she should stay in the position that she should stay in. So yeah, that's what I'm saying right there.